Passionate, driven, enthusiastic, euphoric. This is who we are as entrepreneurs. But how we leverage these incredible attributes to dream and build businesses that scale and grow is what this podcast is all about. Hello, I'm attorneypreneur Josh Brown, and welcome to Franchise Euphoria. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Franchise Euphoria. Well, this is a huge one for us today because I've talked about it. I've alluded to the idea that I am going to be having a co-host for Franchise Euphoria because we are taking this to another level. And while I love doing the interviews and will continue doing the interviews, I love dialogue, and I love dialogue back and forth between two different people. And so my co-host and my partner in Franchise Euphoria, I can't wait to introduce you to him today. And I'm just not going to wait any longer. So without further ado, I want to introduce Joe Levin, all the way from Chicago, Illinois. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Josh? I'm glad to be on, man. This is great.
Yeah, so the audience has no idea who you are.
Perfect. I think we're similar then. That's good.
Exactly. You know, I've talked, in a prior episode, as you know, about the fact that I was going to go to a co-hosting scenario because, quite frankly, I think dialogue between two people really adds much more value to the audience. I want to provide as much perspective and I want to provide differing perspectives to the audience to help these entrepreneurs who are out there looking at franchise opportunities, to help these business owners who are looking at growing and scaling their businesses and going through those difficult decisions and challenges of thinking about, what do I need to do to take this to the next level? Am I ready to take this to the next level? Well, I think with my background and your background, which we'll get into here momentarily, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to really provide some incredible value and to really help people through these decisions. It's not like we're going to have all the answers, but I think the discussions that we will engage in where, we'll agree on a lot, I'm sure, but we'll also disagree on things because we come from two very differing backgrounds. I think that's going to be instrumental to really help a lot of people along the way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the journey we've taken over the years to get to where we are today, and the excitement about launching this and working together as partners is really great. And it's going to benefit everybody because, quite honestly, one of the things we see in a lot of marketplaces has to do with this shifting the customer experience from monologue to dialogue. And there's so much value in having a diverse set of experiences and opinions. And quite honestly, if nothing else, for the viewers, they have somebody now that can directly challenge you on each and every one of these videos. So I think it'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start. That's a great jumping off point. I mean, you and I have known each other a long time. Well, a fairly long time. I guess to some it'd be a short period of time. But didn't we meet about, was it 16, 17 years ago?
Yeah, 16 years ago. Actually, our anniversary starting date together at CDW was 16 years ago last week.
Amazing. And it was right after I graduated from IU Bloomington. And I think where'd you go? Southern University?
Illinois College. Yeah, oh. Illinois College. Small liberal arts school in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
don't put me too far south. Come on.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere in Illinois. I thought it was Southern Illinois University.
They still play country music in Central Illinois, so you're all right.
Hey, they love country music here in Indiana, especially in Bloomington. So we're good there. Maybe that's what linked us up initially. Maybe that was a thing because for those that don't know, so I graduate from IU Bloomington in 1998. Don't know Joe from anybody. Happened to land a job with CDW in sales. And Joe landed a job with CDW in sales. And was it the first day that we met in training?
Yeah, we got partnered up for one of the key projects the first day, and I think we hit it off. I think it was both a common appreciation for both the challenge ahead for us and also the humor that followed in our efforts to learn the technology space and excel in the classroom. So it was a good match from the beginning.
Yeah, and for those who don't know CDW, I mean, they're a huge computer conglomerate company I think, what are they, Fortune 500 now?
Yeah, Fortune 500. Yeah, I don't often hear it referred to as conglomerate, but yeah, we are. We're big. We're big. It's great. We're a reseller of hardware, software, and services, and it's a great organization based out of Chicago. But we've expanded over the years, and it's crazy to see the growth over the last 16 years. Quite honestly.
And so I remember after we first met, I mean, we were going through this training because at CDW, and I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do this training where, they put you through this, what at the time felt like rigorous training, especially for a job right out of college, where you essentially had to learn everything about computers and about software and about networks and about servers. And there were tests each and every week. And you and I just sort of aligned together. And I can remember we'd go to this, I think it was in Mount Prospect, Illinois. We'd go to this dingy restaurant bar because I think we went there because they gave us free popcorn.
They did. Yeah. And the popcorn was good. I mean, for free, I mean, for what we were doing. But, I think this story really goes, it's like cue the music, Better Together from Jack Johnson right here, because that's what it was. It was like, how are we going to get through these tests each and every week? And we found that working together and studying together, challenging each other really worked. And, I think it's a testament to CDW. I mean, they started, we're going to have some of this dialogue over our episodes, and it talking about small businesses and moving into larger corporations. CDW started in the kitchen table, at the kitchen table of our founder, Michael Krasny. And so you talk about the rigorous training program, and I think that was just an acknowledgement of the value Michael and the company had placed on preparing their sellers for the engagement customer. And so it was rigorous, and it's gotten even more rigorous over the years. And it's a foundation for this company and at CDW. And it's also really been kind of an industry standard. I mean, people recognize the training program at CDW as one that really prepares people not only for the technology background, but also the day-to-day experiences that are needed to qualify an opportunity, uncover customer needs, handle objections, and things like that.
Well, and one thing that I think is often overlooked, and one thing I certainly remember, is the culture at CDW, and it's pervasive throughout. And so I think, one of the things that I certainly strive to do, and I think we strive to do through Franchise Euphoria, is to help businesses grow and scale, but do it through their own vision, through a good culture, in a way that resonates with who they are as a person, who they want to be in business. And I think there's probably no better example that I can think of than CDW in starting from Michael Krasny's garage, essentially, or kitchen table, and now all the way up to a Fortune 500 company. And I remember when we both started there, it was big, but I don't know if it was even in the Fortune 1000 then. I mean, I remember seeing Michael Krasny there all the time. I mean, I remember we'd work in the showroom on Saturdays, and you'd see Krasny there. And I, talked to him a couple of times, and here's a guy who had built up what at the time seemed like a really large company, and obviously today is much, much larger. But I think there's so many things that can be learned from that story. And your experiences over the last 16 years of working in a company that was large when you started with it, but is seemingly now a much larger enterprise, and just your experiences of working in the sales aspect, the operational aspect, the e-commerce aspect, the marketing aspect. I mean, goodness gracious, those are amazing experiences and very different from my experiences, because I started at CDW, but I left after the first year and a half, and really have done a lot of different things that have taken me to where I am now. And so I think between the two of us, we're going to have a great story. But I remember, Joe, us from the very beginning talking about how someday we're going to have a business together.
Absolutely, I do. And just to take a quick step back, I mean, with your introduction right there, I'm going to need you to travel with me to all my meetings, because by all means, that's not the best that people say. So that's exciting stuff. I'm pretty humble about the experience here, but it's been incredible. I've been given many opportunities to try new things and take on new challenges. And I think all of that's going to lend itself well to this endeavor we're taking with Franchise Euphoria. And just reiterating the cultural piece of it, I think that is kind of the foundation of a lot of those discussions that happen around franchising and people stepping into a small business or exploring that for the first time, where we can really be able to add some perspective and dialogue, both from your experience, both having run a small business, running your own legal firm, as well as then engaging in this endeavor. And then similarly on the corporate side, from my experience, I know a lot of the discussion we've been having is how our paths have crossed in so many different ways. And now we're at a point here where we're getting ready to kick this thing off and doing some exciting stuff. And so I'm looking forward to it. I hope that we get a lot of response from both the viewers and participants. And as we start to build out this community, I think there's a really good opportunity to leverage others' experience as well as we go through. And I think, a testament to that is just the variety of podcasts you've already launched. I mean, that's exciting stuff. And there's really smart people doing really cool things. And I think we can all learn from each other. So it's exciting.
Yeah, we've got 70 already launched. Do you believe that? I've done 70 of these bad boys, and I'm telling you, it just gets more fun the more I do it. And it's been interesting because I keep getting more and more attorneys, contacting me and saying, "How are you doing the podcast? What's the podcast all about?" So it's just leading to so many different opportunities, expanding my network, and yeah, I look forward to taking it to the next level. I think one thing that would be good right about now, because we've kind of danced around it a little bit, and I think the audience has a flavor for what you do, but take a few minutes and kind of dive deeper into your journey from college to where you are now, and talk about those different points in the business and sort of what you gain from that, because I think that's going to be good insight so that people understand what you bring to the table.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate it. Well, as I mentioned, I graduated with my bachelor's at Illinois College. It's a small liberal arts school. Business administration was my major. And coming out of Illinois College, I came back up to the Chicagoland area where I grew up, and ended a job, as you mentioned, with CDW. And it was a great experience driving right into the sales organization, and definitely a passion for me from childhood, being able to engage with people, interact, and be able to sell. And so I love that opportunity. But I quickly recognized that there was so much more that I could offer and do within this company, CDW. And so there it was really, how do I take that next step? And I applied for an opportunity within our learning organization, our training and development team. And that really was kind of me finding my calling, which was presenting in front of the classroom, sharing my experience, my passion and excitement for understanding the customer, adding value to the experience, removing calories from people's day and things like that. And so I spent the next 4 or so years doing that type of work, training and developing both on the soft skills and technical skills. And that catapulted me within CDW to a new opportunity within the marketing organization, where I was really tasked with creating a function to be a liaison between our sales and marketing organization. And I have, lots of blood, sweat, and tears over the last 10 plus years working on that particular initiative and area, and really, through a variety of roles, have established and created a team here within the CDW organization, which is our sales enablement practice. And that team is focused on delivering really timely, relevant, and actionable opportunities to our sellers, and doing a lot of things behind the scenes to bring strategy to the forefront. So we do a lot of data and analytics. We do a lot of predictive analytics. We understand industry trends, and we try to bring the knowledge and expertise of several marketers within our organization together into specific opportunities for our sellers. And on top of that, I do some work on our e-commerce practice with our site strategy team, as well as our direct marketing organization, which really for us at CDW includes direct mail, catalog, and email. So it's been a variety of topics, but always focused around the customer experience and really around enabling our sellers to deliver greater value to the customer.
Yeah, I think that's just fantastic. For everyone listening out there, the highlights of that, you're hitting on sales and customer service and training and development and marketing and sales enablement and e-commerce and operations. You're hitting on every aspect of any business, not to mention a small business, an entrepreneurial venture. And so I am so looking forward to getting your input, your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions, as we move forward. I mean, just in hearing you talk about that, Joe, I mean, it gave me like 10 ideas. Shocker.
Yeah.
Give me 10
there's no
ideas.
shortage of ideas between the two of us, that's for sure.
Oh my God, give me 10 ideas on different episodes that I want to do and different things that I want to talk about. One thing, though, that I think is a testament to your abilities that's sort of maybe not visible, but something that I can see through this pattern is that you've been able to weave yourself through a large organization in a way that seemingly each position you're going to is more and more representative of who you are and where you want to go and how you want to grow. And that doesn't always happen in a big corporation. I mean, I know a lot of people, as we know, who get into franchises and who get into different businesses, they've been in corporate America and they're dying to get out because they're stuck in an area that they don't like, or maybe they're bored, or maybe they've been doing things for years just for a paycheck and they've never been able to find that satisfaction. You've been able to carve out, and I don't know if part of that is just happenstance, but I got to think, knowing you and knowing your personality and knowing your abilities, that there's been some intentionality in how you've weaved your way through the different avenues of CDW.
Absolutely. I mean, Josh, you've talked about it on a couple of your previous episodes, making sure that you have a very clear set of goals and making sure that you are both pragmatic as well as deliberate about what you want to do and where you want to go. And so those things are absolutely true. I am also a beneficiary of being in the right place at the right time often. But when I think about my experience at CDW, it's been very unique for corporate America, for sure, and that's what's allowed me to stay and continue to grow within a single company. I mean, it's a pretty large anomaly in today's space to have somebody come out of college and just have completed their 16th year within one organization. That being said, I think there are some key areas where I would suggest people thinking about both franchise or corporate America as they're thinking about the opportunities. One of the things that I do when hiring people is that there are a lot of the core skills that are needed in any role that can be taught. But there are some fundamental foundational elements of people that can't, like passion and attitude. And you and I have had many, many dialogues and discussions around this notion of innate ability or just natural skills or attitudes. And so, I think about those things, and those have always been present for me and have really driven me in certain areas within my career. And that being said, I think, the other areas where I look at is, building really strong networks. You've done an unbelievable job in the franchise space. I mean, if you think about you 3 years ago, you were Josh Brown, lawyer, Josh Brown, attorney, and that was it. I mean, there was nothing about franchise in your space. You had a lot of experience there, but you really carved out a niche by building those networks and establishing relationships across that space. And similarly, I've leveraged that to make sure that as I'm working my way through this organization and we work with some of the best technology partners in the world, is making sure that we have good dialogue, we have common objectives, we hold each other accountable and things like that. So it hasn't happened purely by luck, but by all means, I look at the opportunities that have been ahead of me, and I'm excited to have taken advantage of those when they came up and continue to work hard to create new ones for myself and others.
Well, it's interesting to me because as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about the fact that even though you and I have taken very different paths to where we are today, I think there's a unifying link between our paths, and that is that we've each sort of identified a niche or an area or gone down a road that wasn't there before. And I know, like with your experiences with CDW, I mean, I think in some of your positions, didn't they create the positions for you? I mean, they were brand new. I mean, they're just testing these things out, and you're leading up and leading teams and being part of new strategies going forward. Well, that's no different than someone like myself doing that outside of a corporation. You're just doing it within the four walls of a corporate structure, but it still takes the same kind of thought process. I think it takes a similar kind of strategy. I guess I don't have committees that I have to answer to,
sure.
or any kind
you of. All, buddy.
But you know what? As they say with entrepreneurs and business, everybody says, "Oh, it's so great to be an entrepreneur and own your own business." And you know what? It is. But you always have people to answer to, right? I mean, in a corporate structure, you as an employee directly are going to have to answer to anyone above you, if there is anyone above you, and you're going to have to answer to whether it's a committee, a management team, whatever. But at the end of the day, corporate businesses and entrepreneurs have to answer to their customers. And so I think that, the notion that you don't have anybody to answer to and that it must be great not having somebody tell you what to do, I think is a little bit of a farce. I mean, I think we all are answering to people each and every day. It's just I have a more direct, I think, one-to-one connection with my customer each and every day, but I've got to answer to them and each of their demands and each of their requirements, just like you in a corporate structure has to do the same thing.
Yeah, there's a common thread between you and I and every client we work with, whether it's in a corporate environment or a small business, and that is the customer itself, right? That is the common theme. I mean, when you think about, I was mentioning, the different roles, and you suggested that a couple of them didn't exist. I think that's a really important point to make, which is you don't know unless you try, right? And so I commend CDW for taking chances and allowing and creating an environment for innovation. So there are a couple of roles. The role I'm in now, our team, this function did not exist before, but they haven't been afraid to change. They haven't been afraid to acknowledge, either through me or through many other people that have been successful in doing this, areas where we were deficient or opportunities where we could do something different, and taking the time, effort, and financial investment to make those things come to life. So, one of my favorite quotes ever is, people say, "Oh, you're lucky to have gotten a job that you got to create," or, "Josh, you're lucky to be, doing this." And I say, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And so I like that quote because it really talks about the fact it's important that we put ourselves in a position to be lucky. And you do that by seizing the opportunity and being prepared for those when they come up.
I'm smiling here, Joe, because it's like you're reading my mind. I mean, it's not shocking. I was literally going to bust out that quote about 2 minutes ago when you had mentioned about how, you were in the right place at the right time. I was going to go right to that quote. It just tells you how you and I are just such in the same mindset, even though we're in very different positions. And listen, I think we are going to have some amazing times together, amazing fun. I know our very first episode together, beyond the introduction and everything, is going to be, we're going to focus on what small biz and big biz can learn from each other. And it seems so fitting to have that as a jumping off point, because that ties in directly to what people out there who are looking at franchise opportunities, looking to grow through franchising, looking to take their entrepreneurial ventures to the next level, and some just to start their entrepreneurial ventures. I mean, we need to know and understand that it's not just other entrepreneurs that we learn from. We learn from everybody in this big, bad world of business. And in fact, there are many things that people and small business owners can learn from big corporations, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. If you think about the world we live in today, small business, the pace at which these companies are coming about, getting created and finding success is so fast that it's almost shifted where, in years past, it was small businesses need to learn to operate like a big business. They need to bring in, we're going to talk a lot about this, but bring in the process, bring in the structure, bring in the standardization, and really allow you to build and scale your small business. Well, interestingly enough, as things have continued to shift and the rate of changes happen so much, you now see big companies, CDW is an example, but many of them, big corporations, that need to act like a small business. They need to be more nimble. They need to remove the barriers for change. They need to enable people to make quick decisions and follow both intuition and research. And so it's going to be a really interesting journey we take together as we talk about small biz and big biz. And I think, if nothing else, I mean, we're going to have fun for sure. There's no doubt about that. We're going to have a good time. But I think for the viewers and for the clients that we work with, I mean, the exciting thing is that we're bringing together two completely different backgrounds and experiences to offer more value to them in their journey of exploring a franchise, starting a small business, or expanding and scaling what they want to do. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the opportunities, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the folks that listen and participate in these podcasts as well. And I'd love for their feedback so that they can help drive the topics that are important to them, and we can bring those to life.
What's our sign off going to be? We haven't even talked about, how are we going to, when I do my episodes by myself, I typically, end with, something like happy franchising or till the, something
Sure.
like that. And when I'm interviewing people, it's, it's a different kind of sign off. We got to come up with, our signature kind of sign off. I know I definitely want to say this episode that, people know they can always reach me at Josh at franchiseeuphoria.com. I want them to know that you can also reach Joe at franchiseeuphoria.com. But, I was just thinking about this as we were talking. I mean, we got to come up with our sign off here, Joey.
We do. We're going to need something pretty whiz-bang. I'll tell you, if episodes go like this, I'm going to need some help getting my head out the door. You keep, complimenting and promoting me so much. Hopefully I can live up to just a bit of that hype. But if nothing else, from both of us, I would say, we're excited to be sharing our experiences and even more so excited to learn from others. So welcome the feedback, and looking forward to the next episode. And we'll put our heads together on the sign-off action.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, this has been an awesome introduction. I think people are going to be just stoked to hear more from Joey, get a little bit of a different perspective, not just, JB talking all the time and interviewing people, but I think the two of us together can really deliver some great value for the audience. And looking forward to our next episode, big guy.
All right. Take care, JB. Thanks again.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for being with us today on the Franchise Euphoria podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go to iTunes and provide a review. Also, please remember that although Josh Brown is a licensed and practicing attorney, nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as legal advice, because it is not. The information contained in this podcast is general and educational in nature, and none of it should be relied upon as legal advice. That being said, if you have questions for Josh and would like to contact him, please email him at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next weekly episode.